Welcome back to Not Your Average Podcast. This is episode 12, and today I'm bringing back Taylor White for the second time, and this is very exciting for me because I would like to dive into her thought process of everything that she's gone through for the past year. So, would you like to reintroduce yourself for the fans that haven't heard you from the last podcast episode you were on?
Yeah, what's up? I'm Taylor White. I'm the creative director for UVA women's basketball, and yeah, I'm excited to be back.
And my first question is, what was your expectations from switching from working from football to women's basketball this season? And did you enjoy that process, switching from the job?
Yeah, so women's basketball actually has my heart. That was my first love since I was little. I played in college, and yeah, I would love to continue on my career in women's basketball as long as I live. So it was really exciting, and I was really looking forward to working with women's basketball since that's had my heart my whole life. I will say I was not prepared for the amount of games and like content being pushed out, quick turnarounds and things like that that involve basketball. You know, with football, you have 12 games and it's once a week. So you have time to make longer pieces, shorter pieces. You have time to begin like a thought process and brainstorming on different pieces that you would like. But for games, sometimes you have three a week and you push that recap out the next day. And then the following day you're preparing for the next game. So that was definitely different. But once I got the hang of it, you know, I got a flow and a content schedule and things like that. And yeah, it was fun. Also, like shooting differently. I did love like the indoor aspect of it. Didn't have to worry about the rain or it being cold or anything like that. And yeah, I hadn't shot basketball completely. So yeah, just learning like the culture and kind of like what other teams are doing and yeah, just like shooting it, you know, learning the cinematic things and things like that, like how to shoot basketball and the trends and things like that. So yeah, once I got the hang of that, it was fun. It was fun to experiment and things like that, and to like bring in, you know, what I learned from football or different trends from football into the women's basketball world because it was different. So that was fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say personally, this is my first season shooting a lot, mostly women's basketball this year, and I honestly started to grow and love women's basketball just as much as men's basketball, which is a big shock to me because I originally thinking like, oh, I need all the flashy dunks and all these the big plays, but it's like women's basketball is
Yeah.
just as beautiful of a game, just as much as the men's game, especially in the college scene too. I think.
Yeah, and there's some like crazy moments in women's basketball too. Yeah, it just depends on like how you view it and your edits and things like that. It's always great things to catch. And there's some dunking in women's basketball, depends on, you know, who's on your team. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun.
yeah, for sure. And I want to just talk about like how was your experience making the intro video, since I saw your intro video when you posted on LinkedIn, and how was that process of making that? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was really fun. Like another thing, you know, working in an all male sport to a female sport. I'm a girl's girl, so I was excited to pick the song, like the female rapper, add a little bit of pink and different like bright, vibrant colors in there. And you know, the girls are girly girls, so I was excited to shoot the hair flips and the spins and the lip gloss and the kissing the basketball and you know, still making it like a hard female, but it's still girly at the same time. That project is probably the project that I had the most fun with shooting and editing it, picking the song choice, adding in different effects and colors. That whole process, like I was in the group chat with the girls, asking them what kind of songs they like. I showed them, you know, the draft and like different times where I had finished a little bit of the video. I showed them that. I was able to show it to our coach too, and she loved it. So that was really fun. So yeah.
Was it like surreal to see it like play for the first time and seeing the players' reactions out of it?
Yeah, and like with football, you're in a big football stadium and it's, you know, you can see people's faces, but it's a little more spread out versus a basketball arena. You're a little bit more intimate and you can kind of see like their actual reactions and stuff. So yeah, it was cool to see it in arena. Like the sound is louder too because you're inside. And yeah, I got some good feedback from the girls after, so they definitely loved it. And you know, when they comment on it, you know, they love it because some athletes don't pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, I think that's something like even myself personally, like throughout the season, like we had to make a new intro video for conference play, and I got to my last idea was like, can you create it for me since he was so busy with other sports
Yeah.
and stuff. So he's like, I got to create it and see it play for the first time, and I was like, wow, I got to do this, and the athletes are like actually enjoying it. I was like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, it's like, oh wow, I made that. Like that's mine. And lots of people are seeing it. So, and it's cool to see it like on a huge screen, you
Yeah.
know?
Like
So
honestly, I'm like I personally think that's like my prouder to see that than even a social piece sometimes, just because
it is.
everyone's in seeing an arena and live in person.
It is. And almost like less people see your work in arena, but just the grand aspect of it is cooler than seeing it on social media, like on a phone or something smaller.
Yeah, for sure. And then I would like to talk about how is your preparation for non-conference play and the expectations for your team when going into non-conference play.
Yeah, non-conference play, obviously, we went through that with a breeze and that was kind of my time to learn the women's basketball culture, learn how to shoot it, also like what the girls liked, what's doing well on social media. So those first few months of non-conference play, of course, I got a chance to like shoot the off-season stuff, but I kind of learned what the fans like, during the season, what the numbers look like, the content, the look, and things like that. So that was more of a learning curve in a sense, the non-conference play, and then by the time we got to conference, and I was able to like have like a set look and a routine and things like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I know in the last podcast episode I had you on, we talked about camera gear. Did your camera gear change from shooting football to basketball by any chance, or develop throughout the season too?
Yeah, so with football, we had like a few pieces. Mostly I use cinematic cameras with football, but with women's basketball, it was just me. And I took photos too and did videos. So I use my personal equipment, which was a smaller DSLR where you can like, flip the switch back and forth between photo and video. So the gear did change a little bit. I'm a Canon girly and we had cinematic Canons at football, so I just kind of kept with that. And yeah, my Canon was a DSLR.
Nice. And then what what were some of your favorite basketball arenas to shoot at throughout the season? That's something that I like
Yeah,
to ask everybody when they shoot a lot of basketball.
yeah. Wake Forest comes to mind because I liked how it's like almost dark or black. Like
Okay.
half of the arena is dark. So the further you go up, it looks like there's like some sort of shade or vignette or something
Okay.
in the arena. And then Louisville's arena was really cool. I did like shooting in Virginia Tech's arena because it's kind of like a bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you go all the way to the tippy top, it's a great like scene looking down on it. Yeah, those are a few of my favorite arenas that I got to shoot in. But yeah, I definitely like the dimmer arenas because it adds like an effect on it that you don't have to put on it. It makes it look a little bit more cinematic. So that was cool.
Yeah, I agree. Like I do like the background, like the seating or stands being darker, just so the players pop or the uniforms pop a little bit more.
Yeah.
And then I did shoot at Virginia Tech 2 seasons ago, and I was gonna say they have some of the loudest fans I ever experienced in my lifetime. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, when I was sitting on the court, the floor was shaking. It was scary. But yeah, their fans are definitely the experience was fun with their fans.
Yeah, and I think they do that arena on purpose. The bowl shapes, you get fans 360 no matter where you're at
Yeah.
to scream at you and the players.
But yeah, I would say like, outside of the March Madness arenas and experience, like the Virginia Tech experience was one to remember. It was so cool to just like hear the fans yell and all the things with the floor bouncing. Like it was packed, and it's always great to see people supporting women's basketball. So that was probably my favorite experience at an away arena.
Yeah, that's fair. I would like to ask, like, at UVA, is women's basketball pretty popular? Like, is attendance pretty good there? Just because, like, I'm not saying like at my school, LaSalle, women's basketball is not the biggest sport, and the attendance is pretty low here. But that's just because mid-major basketball.
Yeah. No, yeah, yeah. A lot of people here definitely support our women's basketball program, and I'm sure even more will support us too next season with the run that we have. But yeah, we have a lot of support behind us, and it's great to have that because not a lot of schools have that.
Yeah, that's fair. And then moving on to what happened the past month for you, since the team was like a shock to make the auto bid to make the March Madness, and then going as far as they did to the Sweet 16. How was that experience and that journey? Since usually people have that's a long mix of single season, a lot
Yeah.
longer and a lot more work.
No, yeah, like honestly, it was a magical experience. It was great. And I shot the women's Final Four and championship game in 2024. And just to like it was an even better feeling to, play in the tournament and have a relationship with the team and the girls in the tournament versus like being a freelancer at the Final Four and championship game. Just like going that far with a team, like with my little sisters, with people that you've built relationships with. So that was fun. And just to see them like, do their thing, create magic and like they deserved everything that, they accomplished. And it was fun to like be along on that ride and the journey and yeah, it was cool. It was like a dream come true, so
Yeah, I was gonna say that's one of my dreams working in basketball is just, especially collegiate basketball, just to see my team make March Madness and see
yeah.
that journey, just see how that feels because I feel like that's a completely different feel, right? I'm assuming from like regular season and preseason and all that.
Yeah, it is. And like making the content for it was so fun. Making content throughout the season is fun. Sometimes it can get redundant, but like going to different arenas and like shooting the different March Madness logos, it's just like a different feel. It's like you're in one gear and then you get kicked into another gear,
Yeah,
with the March Madness content and just seeing our numbers go up the way it did with our run. It was pretty cool to see that we were number 7 in the country in women's basketball with our social media pages and just to see the amount of revenue that was driven and engagement that went up. Yeah, it was just cool like making the content for that and telling our story like yeah. It was fun. It was a lot more work, but it was fun, seeing a smile on their faces, creating work that, everyone's watching and it's a story that needed to be told. And I was excited that, I was part of the crew that helped tell that story.
it's, it's definitely awesome to hear that even seeing the numbers grow from what you've done throughout the season, just saying that your hard work has paid off. And then
Yeah.
I'd like to just add on like how do you stay fresh with your ideas throughout the season, especially like a lot of people from I hear say, oh, basketball gets repetitive, redundant.
It does.
Like one time, I won't mention who it is, but they said I asked him once, "What's your favorite sport to shoot?" And he said water polo, just because it's different. It's not the same thing as
Yeah.
basketball. So I was like, how do you stay creative with it and not get burnt out from the long season?
Yeah, honestly, like since I have experience shooting football, but before I came into the women's basketball position, I worked with all 27 sports. So I shot swimming, tennis, and things like that. So, and those are pages, wherever you work or what sport you work for, you kind of like start following those pages. And, every sport has a different culture and kind of content look. So that's kind of how I stay fresh. Like I mentioned before, I brought some of the football swag to the women's basketball and, I kind of like shot and did something and posted something. Then I seen another women's basketball team did something that we did. So yeah, just kind of like bringing something different to it. And then, the girls always have ideas and things that they see on TikTok. So just doing different things like that. But yeah, the variety of sports that I've shot and different pages that I follow, just kind of mixing, those things in with women's basketball to kind of keep us different and so it's not boring or redundant, like you mentioned.
Yeah, makes sense. And then you mentioned you shot other sports throughout your time. Like, what other sports do you like to shoot outside of basketball and the football, since they're the two biggest sports at most schools?
Yeah, I would say soccer. Yeah, so I also worked with our pre-professional team here, Charlottesville Blues, their soccer team. Yeah, soccer's fun. It's not that much scoring, so when there is, it's like so exciting, to shoot that and edit that and get the different reactions. So yeah, that'd probably be one of my other favorite sports that I like shooting.
That's something I shoot a lot of at my school too. I was gonna say something pretty interesting I like to shoot is actually I started to fall in love shooting track for some reason. Just like
Oh
to
yeah.
create videos and photos for that. Like I don't know if you ever been to like or heard of pin relays. Just at UPenn, it's massive out here. So and the SID's been telling me, oh, that's gonna be really fun. And then the assistant coach told me that too. So it's like I'm getting really excited for that type of year. It's like 3 weeks out for me.
Yeah. Yeah, you can be really creative with track too because they have different events and it's different people doing them. So yeah, I've seen a lot of creative things done with track content.
Yeah, which is like something different that I never experienced before. Like my past experience is just mainly shooting a lot of just the main sports like basketball or the soccer's or something, which I feel like you learn a lot of different things when you shoot than more niche sports and learn to
Yeah.
be more creative at times too.
Oh yeah.
And then to follow up with your position, do you get any like interns or student help to help you at home games or even away games, or any?
Yeah, we have a student, her name's Rachel, and I love her. She's so like big eyes, she's willing to help and do whatever. She mostly does video, but yeah, she definitely comes to all the games and helps me with different angles, different ideas and things like that. And I love like working with students because when you're working by yourself, sometimes you get closed-minded of doing the same thing, but it's always good to have a fresh set of eyes in mind, especially like the younger generation because they know what's trendy. And yeah, so I love giving, our students the space to kind of be free, create, and, you know, do whatever they've seen or feel that's on their heart, or that's always fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just for her to have a mentor that's willing to let her be creative and grow in her own space too. Because I always look up to those people and look back at the people that helped me grow and helped me get to where I am, and I'm appreciative of it all the time. So hopefully she is appreciative of it too.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's my girl. I love working with her, and honestly, like I don't see her as a student creative. I see her as my right hand girl. So,
That's awesome.
and I feel like yeah, that's how it should always be. So,
That's awesome. And on top of like shooting games, do you also do like any graphics too for the team?
so we have a graphic designer. He does all 27 sports.
Okay.
So, I mean, I dib and dab a little bit, but I'm not as great as him. There's probably a couple graphics on the page that I've made, but yeah, he's our go-to guy.
I was gonna say that he's probably very busy working all the sports.
Yes, he is. But yeah, we love him and appreciate him.
Okay, so I'm just thinking like how versus my school versus your school, how it's like you have a graphic designer versus how my school works is all the SIDs have to do some sort of graphics for their
Mm.
game days or like any like win graphic or whatever they need to do. It's all SIDs having to cover their teams.
Yeah, I mean, some of our SIDs do know how to do graphics, and shout out Keith, he's our graphic designer. He'll like make a template for them for like score graphics and simple things like that. As far as the meat and potatoes, the bread and butter, like he's the go-to guy for those things.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then for the off season, do you have any like plans for the off season to relax, travel, or just visit family? Because I know during basketball season it's pretty hard to make free time and go visit family and stuff.
Yeah, I'm hoping to go on a vacation or two with my family. Obviously basketball season, like I said, it was different. Football season lasts, a few months. Basketball season, it's like almost 6 or 4 or 5, I don't know. But yeah, I wasn't able to see my family as much as I used to or could with football. So yeah, hopefully I'm able to see my family soon and, go on a vacation or two. Yeah, you know how it is working with the team. You start recruiting, there's summer workouts and things like that, getting ready for the season to start. So yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully some time coming up soon.
yeah, that's awesome. And then, do you also see the growth of women's basketball to continue growing? Just like this past week, we saw the two new expansion teams with the WNBA and all that
Yeah.
happening. And the CBA passing. And do you think it will continue to keep growing and be bigger than ever was?
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think women's, not just women's basketball, but women's sports in general is gonna continue to grow and tier. And yeah, WNBA like pay cap growing and things like that. I definitely think that's a statement that everyone can see, and hopefully more people can invest in, like fans coming to games and arenas. That's how revenue and money is generated through ticket sales and things. Yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. And yeah, we all just will continue to support it, and us that work in it, this is a dream. Like this is something that we love, and especially like when you get to know the players or the athletes in it, it just makes it even better. So yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see where it continues to grow because it's definitely grown quickly in the last couple of years.
Yeah, it's definitely grown to a scale that I couldn't even picture. Like even when I started college in 2018, I couldn't
Yeah.
imagine how big it's gone, and and now that it's gone so much bigger, and I'm working in it, I see how it's becoming more and more popular throughout the time.
Oh
And
yeah. Yeah.
and then since I know basketball season since is unwinded for you. Do you shoot any other sports for the University of Virginia? Like, do you go out and shoot like any of the fall spring sports? I mean, and help out.
No, but if I'm asked to help, then I will. It's always fun to do other sports, outside of the one that you're focused on. But yeah, we have like Who's Choice coming up and things like that. So, which is kind of like a SPs, for us, and I'll get to work with different athletes. So I'm excited to shoot some of that content and, kind of steer away from basketball for a sec. But yeah, not too much else going on besides like freelance projects, like weddings, engagement shoots, and different things like that, which is always fun too to do outside of sports. So,
Yeah, definitely some change of pace and a lot of fun just going out there and doing some other side projects,
oh yeah, yeah, for sure. I love it.
which I'm excited for this summer just to see what I can dabble into, just on top of everything. Because working in sports can be challenging, especially how many games and how fast paced it is. Like I've been shooting a lot of like lacrosse and even new sports like acro and tumbling and baseball and stuff here.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, definitely shooting other sports is a lot of fun. And like I said, every sport has a different culture and stuff, so it's fun to kind of like tap into that and kind of learn different ways to shoot different sports. So definitely like helps you grow as a creative.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And do you have any like aspirations to go shoot like WNBA basketball one day
Yeah,
or
of course.
NFL again?
Yeah, of course, I would love to shoot any pro sport, anything that, elevates my career, my skill set. I'm always willing to learn and grow. I would love to work with people and creatives and, a team, where we can all put our heads together and get inspiration from each other. Yeah, everyone has their dream of working at the pro level or like at a network or something like that or a brand. So yeah, I would love to do that one day whenever the Lord's ready to move me.
Yeah, that makes sense. And then I should mention I remember you mentioning you were from Roanoke, and you seen have you seen the success that like Roanoke College and even Hollins University has gotten in the D3 scene in the past year? And
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like I know we previously mentioned oh how sports isn't that big in our area in Southwest Virginia or in specific Roanoke, but it seems like the colleges there or starting to pick up some momentum and bring that to the area more.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's always good for our area. The recruiting process these days is amplified, and not just at the Division 1 level, but at all levels of NCAA. The rules and regulations and things apply to everyone. So yeah, it's really cool to see it grow, and especially in my hometown and kind of like, put us on the map. Just sports in general and like I said, women's sports, like it's great. It's great to see, it move and go up and as much as it has, and elevate.
And then, do you feel like, on top to piggyback off that, like, do you feel like NIL and stuff like makes making content more like even more like crucial nowadays than ever? Like, just because like I'm thinking like 3 or 4 years ago, you didn't see as much content produced as now. I would say.
Oh yeah, and NIL is definitely helping. And then some of us do create some of the NIL content, and it's just like shooting other sports or shooting things other than sports. And shooting NIL content is fun. It's different. It's not sports, and yeah, just being able to shoot, your athlete doing, what they do with the brand or whoever company that reached out to them is fun. And yeah, I feel like it's a skill that you have like shooting sports and shooting like brand or company corporate content too, because they're both really different. So if you can do both, that's cool.
For sure. Like I would say, like there's a ton of schools I've seen lately open up positions just for specific NIL content creators, and then
Hmm.
that's separate from like the athletics in a way.
Yeah.
Which do you think that will continue to be a position that will grow at big time schools?
Well, yeah, I definitely think so if it hasn't already. Different schools have different collectives and sometimes they have like their own creative team with the collective. So yeah, I definitely think like what we do and the space that we're in, the industry that we're in the technology, creative, social media space, like it'll definitely grow. And I still think there are even more positions that haven't been created in our industry that will be created. You know, it went from someone just like one position that knows how to do video, photo, graphics, and run social media to like now is just a position just for social, a position just for video, a position just for graphics, just for photo, and even a position just to like follow social analytics. So yeah, I definitely see it growing in the future.
And would you on that topic? Are you saying there's more specialized positions? I would say specifically at my school, since budget is a lot smaller than like an ACC or SEC schools, since we're in the Atlantic 10, was it like whereas like we have like SIDs that do a little bit of creative content like video, photo here, and then do graphics to on top of the traditional SID work. Do you think
Yeah.
more schools would just go away from that and have more specialized positions, or is it just gonna be take more time for those smaller schools to keep up with those like even University of Virginia or even the LSU's or the Clemson's and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's even happening right now. And like you mentioned, like it does depend on the school, how much money they have and the resources. But yeah, in the near future, I could see every school creating specific positions for specific roles and things that are needed within the program or, you know, the team, the industry. Um, yeah, so yeah, I can definitely see it. Maybe not now. The money and resources is a factor, but yeah, in the near future, I could see every school at every level having, you know, those types of positions.
Yeah, for sure. I once even read an article on like LinkedIn saying college athletics, like the communications department, is becoming like media companies, like how like
Yeah,
fast they can do work and how good the content has become with the media days, the video board content, the social content, and how
yeah.
versatile each person is and the camera equipment they're even getting to use.
Yeah, and like with creatives, you know, some schools have specific departments that just cater to the media days or just to the social or just to the in-game content. But there's other schools where like the creatives, like we tap into everything. Like I'll make stuff for in-game and I'll shoot media day shoots and do social media. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely growing and stuff, but you know, like I said earlier, it's cool to know how to do all of it because
Yeah, for sure. And then, what are your like something you're looking forward to in the next upcoming season? Something that you didn't get to, maybe you didn't get to do this season, or something that you wish happened, and then you will implement this upcoming season.
yeah, I mean, after our run, it's a lot of stories to be told. That's what I'm excited about. And, you know, like I said, the girls deserve all of the success, the attention, like all of it. And, you know, I'm excited to see, you know, how it all unfolds when the season starts. And yeah, I'm just excited to make the content of the program and tell the stories. And
Okay. And then I know I asked you earlier what's your favorite arenas to shoot, but what are some of your favorite cities to explore? Since I know during the like March Madness you went to Sacramento all the way down there versus which is across the country and everything.
yeah. Yeah, my favorite city was when we went to California to play University of California and Stanford when we went to Berkeley. Just like being able to walk around at some of the malls down there. And when we went to Sacramento too, just California, the state itself is really beautiful and it's a lot warmer than over here in the
Yeah.
East Coast, the different times that we went there. So yeah, that's probably my favorite place that I've been to or state because I've never traveled to California before. So it was fun to explore it and go on two different occasions.
Yeah.
So
That makes sense. So what do you rank really high when you go explore a new city? Do you rank the food or the shopping experience or like how warm the temp is or whatnot?
probably a little bit of everything. I love shopping, so that would probably be first. But it being nice outside, like you could just go on a walk and walk to nowhere. Just like through the flowers or garden or anything like that. And when it's nice outside, everything's just better. So definitely the weather.
Yeah, especially this year. It was horrible this winter. I was in San East Coast. Like
Oh yeah.
it was pretty bad. Like across the board. Like even I'm in Philadelphia now, and then I hearing people back home saying, "Oh, it was horrible in Roanoke too." It was just like, whoa. I was like, wow, everywhere.
Oh yeah. Still chilly a little bit today too, but I'm sure over in California it's probably 80 degrees. So,
Yeah, you're living the dream with that, right?
oh yeah, you're
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I guess in Florida it's the same way because you guys go to like FSU and stuff, right?
hmm Yeah. One of our first trips was to Daytona Beach. It was a tournament and it was nice. Like we stayed on the beach and it was cool to, you know, go from practice to change your clothes and get to walk on the beach in the sand. So
Yeah.
yeah, Florida was nice too.
And then one of my final questions is for your preseason. Is there anything you guys look forward to, like content wise? Like I've seen some teams go like the team will go like paintballing or something. They would create content off that, or like I saw FSU created like a fishing trip with the women's basketball team. Is there anything
Yeah.
you look forward to doing in the off season and creating content about?
Yeah, definitely those trips. And those are done like in the summertime where the water is, and that's when you get to know the team and the players and their personalities come out, and it's always just fun doing content other than the sport itself. So definitely looking forward to that. And I love creating content that's not really related to the sport, and most of that content comes out during the off season, during the summertime. I'm like doing series and get to knows and things like that. So hopping on different trends that may come out throughout the summer and just trying different things. So yeah, really just excited for all, post last preseason content, and just diving into different things, but also like I mentioned before, being able to tell that story from this past season.
Yeah, I definitely agree that shooting like non-sports content sometimes is just as fun. Like this past season, I got to
Yeah.
shoot the women's basketball team go out and play pickleball, and the coaches got involved, and seeing even the coaches' personality come out is something that you don't get to see during the game. Sometimes like the fun side of it,
Yeah.
because they're always like serious or angry at the game or something like that.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's always fun, and it's a way to bond too and build relationships in those types of like environments, like you said, because we're not on the court, we're not focused and playing or coaching or shooting. So yeah, those types of team events are fun.
Yeah, for sure. And I would just want to say I appreciate you hopping on the podcast, and I would love to keep track of your progress and your
Yeah.
content throughout the rest of this next season too. Just like I did this season, I was keeping up with it, getting some inspiration for myself because
Uh,
shooting women's basketball was different from shooting
yeah.
men's basketball at times. Yeah,
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me. This is always fun just to yap about creative things. And yeah, I really appreciate you following along my journey. And yeah, it's always fun to watch and see what other creatives are doing. That's how we get our inspiration is from each other.
yeah, for
So
sure.
yeah, yeah, thanks for having me again. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.